Hey folks, leave it here once again. Yes, I'm wearing two shirts, my YouTube channel shirt. That's because it's cold. It's like 31 degrees or something out here in South Carolina. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy my review. I like welcome you back to another review, to another 2010 superhero era of superhero reviews. And hope y'all enjoy my review slash epic rant. It didn't start off that way, it just became one on Kick-Ass 2, which, yeah, I hate that sequel. But anyway, guys, next, for the next, again, my name is Leo McNally. You know, my channel is Leo McNally 983 with the mask profile picture. Make sure to subscribe to that, guys. And also, like I said, I'm on the doing a superhero marathon on my YouTube channel. I've been doing what I call the 2010s era of superhero reviews, and right now I'm on the year 2013, and this is the last movie that I'm going to review for 2013 for the year 2013. And this is another revisit review of a Marvel movie, the MCU movie. This is the eighth film in the MCU movie, and it is the sequel to the 2011 film Thor. Yes, or the second installment in the Thor films trilogy, if you want to call it. That's what I call it. But it stars Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, and Anthony Hopkins as Odin. And that is a revisit review for Thor: The Dark World. Which after reviewing this, I really enjoyed this movie. I did enjoy it. It had problems, of course, but it's definitely better than Iron Man 3, better than Thor: Love and Thunder. I know this movie gets some hate, but I don't think it's that bad of a movie in my opinion. I thought this was a pretty good, solid sequel. Like I said, if you want to talk about a Thor movie that's awful, watch Love and Thunder. I like Thor Ragnarok more than this, though, but that's just me. Mainly because the villain in that movie, Helena, or Hela, I forget that actor's name. But yeah, like I said, I do have some problems with this movie, but despite that, it's a good movie. It's a very entertaining film. It's an entertaining sequel. It's definitely one of the most underrated Marvel movies, in my opinion, along with the Incredible Hulk. And even Iron Man 2, I would say is underrated. This is underrated too, in my opinion. It's better than the Eternals. It's better than some superhero movies we get nowadays. I could watch it over X-Men First Class or X-Men Apocalypse or even X-Men Dark Phoenix. This is better than this. I could probably even watch it over the Dark Knight trilogy, but that's just me. That's how much I do enjoy Thor: The Dark World. I'm not a big fan of the character of Thor, but I do like Chris Hemsworth as Thor. He made me a fan of the character. So, and the way they came out with it. But anyway, for production of the movie, that's how I always do it on my channel. In both cases, it's using the concept of fantastical alien world to make fresh what is really domestic drama. In Game of Thrones, seeing Tiberius battle with his sister, Caesar seeing the relationship between the children and their fathers, is all the stuff we're interested in theological level because we're living in the time, all that time. But it takes place in this otherwise fanciful foreign realm. I think the same thing is true in Thor. The brilliant King Ken Branagh did launching was making his very much a story about two brothers, a story about brothers compete for the love of their father. So it's small, confined in the human times is blown out, in a radical world. Alan Taylor, director of Thor: The Dark World, and so for Games of Thrones. In April 2001, before the release of Thor, Marvel Studios stated that following the Avengers, Thor would going off into a new adventure. Ken Branagh, director of Thor, the first movie Thor, said, "It's kind of news to me. Here's what I say to that: is that I'm thrilled that they're confident. I should wait for the audience to tell us whether there should be a second one, and if that's a nice conversation to be had. All of us that'd be thrilling, but I've got too much Irish suspicious blood in me to assume that Thor 2 will happen. But if Marvel says so, then I guess it may be true." Feast later explained that Marvel Studios would gouge how Thor did the box office before announcing sequels, but stated Don Payne supported the story ideas for part 2. We've got various options with Kenneth Branagh to discuss coming back, but right now the focus is on the first one. Don is slowly but surely thinking about where to take the character next. Should be so lucky, but unfortunately, of course, they were lucky enough because the first Thor movie did come out. It was successful, and of course, Thor would go on. Chris Hemsworth did come back as Thor and the Avengers, and that was a huge hit. And so was Iron Man 3, and that's why you get this sequel, of course, because of that. In June 2001, Disney Studios set a July 26, 2013 release date for Thor sequel. Chris Hemsworth was part of the role as the character. It was also reported that Branagh would not be returning as writer, but would likely be involved in producing capability. The Los Angeles Times said the long commitment necessary for a special effects heavy epic. The pressure to start the script pressures rises away seasons reasons for Brennan's departure. Although he was potentially enthused by the chance to direct the sequel, But I noticed that it was a long time making the first film, and they were too quick for me to get straight back into another. But it was a pleasure experience of a film, and I'm very proud of it. The following day, Marvel formally hired Payne, one of the writers of the first film, to script the sequel. In another version of the film, planned to feature Hela as the film's antagonist, which did not happen, but she did go on to be the antagonist in Thor Ragnarok, which came out a couple years later in 2017 after this movie. Well, about 4 or 5 years later, it came out. However, Marvel Studios producer Greg Kyle explained that the creative from Marvel Entertainment was driving most of the decisions for the film. They did not want a female villain because they did not believe they could sell toys based on her two young boys. In August, Brian Kirk entered early negotiations to direct the Thor sequel. The film would have Mark Kirk's first time directing a big budget motion picture after having directed television series for HBO, Showtime, and Game of Thrones. September 2011, Tom Hiddleston returned in the sequel, speculating in the film, Lucky will have to take responsibility for what he's done. Patty Jenkins, the director of Monster, in the pilot episode of ABC's The Killing, he entered negotiations with Marvel Studios to direct the film, but after Kirk passed due to stating options that during month, feeds say that the sequel would take Thor to other worlds, and probably be the journey of the character of he. Well, Patty Jenkins didn't direct this movie, but she did go on to direct Wonder Woman in 2017, starring Gal Gadot, and the sequel Wonder Woman 1984, which came out in 2020. So she may not have made Thor, but she did make Wonder Woman, brought Wonder Woman to the screen, starring Gal Gadot in 2017. Marvel confirmed that Jenkins would direct the sequel, and Natalie Portman returned to star. Disney also moved the release date for the film November 15th. December 11th, Jenkins decided the project created differences. She stated, "I have a great time working at Marvel. We parted on very good terms, and I look forward to working with them again." But she would eventually go on to work with DC. Jenkins felt that she should not have she could have not made a good film out of the Thor 2 because I wasn't the right director. I could have made a great Thor if I could have done the story that I was wanting to do, but I don't think I was the right person to make a great Thor out of the story that they wanted to. Jenkins intended to create a film based on the premise of Romeo and Juliet, where Jane was struck on Earth with Thor forbidden to become a savior. After Thor eventually does travel to Earth, he and Jane would have discovered that Malachi was hiding the dark energy inside of Earth because he knows that Odin doesn't care about Earth, so he's using Odin's disinterest in order to trick him. 3 days later, it was reported that Marvel was looking at Alan Taylor and Daniel Menon as directors to replace Jenkins. They were also in the midst of trying a writer to write Donald Payne's script. They have writers like John Cole, Robert Rado, and Roger Avery, so I can't say the name right. But at the end of the month, Alan Taylor, best known for directing some episodes of the Game of Thrones, was chosen to write the sequel. But as mentioned, Taylor's work on the series Mad Men and Boardwalk Empire, and Game of Thrones is the reason for hiring. In other direction, we got a few more layers of texture, reality into our golden realm. As Feige looked at what worked for the first Thor film and thought what we could retell from that, Taylor decided to bring some Game of Thrones into it in order to make a darker and more grounded sequel to Burns' work in the previous film. And of course, this film does go in a bit darker. It does become a little darker, but I'm not saying it's completely dark, but they do go a little darker territory with this movie, which, you change with a sequel, you make a different story. That's what you do. You know, it has to be different. Helmsworth also revealed the film would have a more Viking influenced film. I think the science fiction element of Thor was dangerous, falls a little bit into the world of it. Tipped the Thor a light too. I think a big waterfalls and mountains and Viking influence with the Norse mythology kind of grew from. Having that in Asgard is going to make it all the more special, and that's what Alan wants to bring to it. Feige said that while the relationship between Loki and Thor certainly has changed as the event of the movie Avengers has progressed, a lot of Thor 2 is picking up where it left off in terms of Jane, who you just saw from on the computer monitor, and of course in the first Thor movie. In May 2012, Medican began talks to play one of the villains in the film, and Nathan Helms played Odin in the first film. Madison, I can't say his name right. Well, he was the chief in the Casino Royale, but he would also play a villain in one of the two main villains in Doctor Strange. So he did go on to work with Marvel. You know, Benedict Cumberbatch, who eventually joined the film series of Stephen Strange, Doctor Strange, was also on the run to play Malachi in the Accused, which maybe would have been interesting. But like I said, at least him and Mads Mikkelsen, I can't say his name right, they did go on to be in Doctor Strange. So they did work with Marvel, especially Benedict Cumberbatch, who is now Doctor Strange. Definitely want to see Doctor Strange leave. But anyway, at the end of the month, Disney moved up the release date for the film a week ahead of the previous date to November 8, 2013. Much of the first film's supporting cast was confirmed to return. including Irish Elba, Jamie Alexander, Ray Stevenson, and Stella Skarsgård also in June. Yeah, and Zachary Levi was cast in his place. Taylor Stanley to return, but had to bow out due to a commitment on a television show. Zachary Levi was cast in the place. He was really in the role in the first one, but was scheduled in conflicts with Chuck, forced him to drop out. That's cool though, because Zachary Levi will also go to play Shazam in 2019. So Miller said that he would not be appearing in the sequel due to commitments. That's not happening, unfortunately. It's a bit too late. Uh, for some of the filming, nice, beautiful sets for this movie. Christopher photography began on September 10th, 2012, in Bournemouth, Surrey, England, and under the working title Thursday Morning. A few weeks later, Clive Russell was cast as Tower, and Richard Burt was cast as Israel Captain. At the end of the month, Jamie Alexander was injured on the London film set after she slept while walking in the rain. On October 12th, 2012, production moved to Iceland, where filming took place in some countries I can't say. Described the shoot as amongst the most extensive film projects to ever take place in Iceland. Yeah. And of course, Marvel was working on another movie that was Captain America: Winter Soldier. Will come out a year later after this, in April. I'm just reading it. Dennings told reporters that the film was about to head into reshoots. And Alex Taylor said he shot extra scenes with Heston, who was about to shoot more with Hopkins. Taylor explained that it was all about part of the Marvel process, saying, "We're doing full scenes that were not in the movie before. We're adding scenes, creating scenes for the first time." Taylor said the Avengers writer director Josh Whedon rewrote several scenes in the film, explaining Josh came in to save our lives a couple of times. Of course, he directed the Avengers. The film's mid-credit scene was directed by James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. The film underwent multiple changes during the reshoots, and editing process, which, a lot of movies get reshoots, with Taylor behaving his original version had more childlike wonder, including stating the film with children overall more magical quality. Taylor wanted Asgard in the film to have a more natural look than his predecessor. Video supervisor Jack Morrison said, "We ended up calling this time Toby." Yeah, the music score was not done by Patrick Boyle, done by a different guy. And again, I was in Marvel Hall Brian Tyler, who scored Iron Man 3. He gave a good score to that movie. And he gave one here too. But anyway, the film had TV spots. You saw the trailer for the movie at the time of its release. Heston was Loki at the 2013 San Diego Comic Con. Yeah, I remember seeing a video of that, him going like, "Say my name, Loki," and that was great. But they marketed the film with the trailer and teasers and all that stuff. Yeah, but for the cast of the movie, oh gosh, here are your three cast members. Yeah, you have Chris Hemsworth returning as Thor, an Avenger and the Crown Prince of Asgard, based on the Norse mythology God of Thunder of the same name. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, of course, was in the first Thor movie. He was in, I think his first movie was in Star Trek 2009, playing George Kirk, James T. Kirk's father, and of course, the first Thor movie, The Avengers, would also go after this to be in Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Ultron, Vacation, 2015 film Vacation, Ghostbusters 2016 film, and a cameo in Doctor Strange, and Thor Ragnarok, and of course the other MCU movies. And Natalie Portman is Jane Foster. She's Thor's love interest and a scientist as well. Natalie Portman, I remember her a lot of movies like, well, if you want to talk about movies, Leon the Professional, I think that was her first movie. Viva Vendetta, which is a comic book film. She was in, of course, Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, The Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. That's Padme Amidala, uh, the wife of Anakin Skywalker, who would become Darth Vader. But Viva Vendetta, that's a comic book film, but that's a bit darker and more bloodier than this. And Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Thor's daughter, brother, and nemesis, based on the Loki, the god of mischief. Yeah. Tom Hiddleston, good actor. Of course, I know I got to check out the Loki series. May not be great, but I still would somewhat want to check it out. Basically, just for Tom. But he played Hank Williams, I think, in a movie. Yeah, that was like a singer or something in real life. Yeah. After Thor the Dark World, he was in Muppets Most Wanted, The Pirate Fairy. We'll come back to be. He was in Kong Skull Island, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame. Just making cameos in those movies with archives and uncredited cameo in Ant Man and the Wasp. Yeah. And Stellan Skarsgård as Eric Sivak. Stellan Skarsgård, he was in Good Will Hunting with late Robin Williams, The Hunt for Red October, and I think a movie called Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as Bootstrap Bill Turner. Yeah, Bootstrap Bill Turner, he played that. Yeah. Bill Turner's father. Idris Elba's Helmdall. Idris Elba's been in probably many movies. He was in Obsessed, American Gangster, Pacific Rim, Molly's Game, Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, The Dark Tower, Star Trek Beyond, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, he voiced Knuckles. And if you want to talk about and Finding Dory, he did a voice for that, and The Jungle Book, voiced Bagheera in that the 2016 remake, and Planet Zootopia. Yeah, I know. I just don't care. His character in that movie, but anyway. And of course, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which came out last year. Well, last month actually in December. I think that came out of 2024. And if you want to talk about comic film, yes, he was in Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, but he doesn't die like he did in that movie. Christopher Elskis as Malachi, the ruler of the Dark Elves, and the main villain of the Malachi is the main villain of the film. Good actor, I guess. I haven't really think I've seen him in too much. He was in G.I. Joe: Rise of Cobra as James McCullen Destro. Oh, okay, that was him. Actor Alan Bajones as Album Curse, a dark elf, and Malachi's trusted and loyal lieutenant who's transformed into a monstrous creature in order to destroy Thor. He was in The Mummy Returns, The Bourne Identity, G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. Oh, he was in Congo? That was from 1995. I like that. He was in Ace Ventura: Miniature Calls. Okay, cool. In The Mummy Returns, I think I remember that he's the one that had the bird. And he was in Suicide Squad. He played Killer Croc. I'm talking about the 2016 film. Yeah. And Kate Dennings as Darcy Lewis. The only movie I can ever think of was the first Thor movie. I think we didn't see her again after this, so yeah. I don't think she did an MCU movie ever again after this. Or Thor: Love and Thunder, but she has a cameo. So yeah, so she was in that pile of crap. The only movie I can think of that was Big Mama's House 2 with Mark Lawrence. Yeah. And funny, Zachary Levi was also in that movie too. Yeah. Ray Stevenson, like as Vultus, members of the Warrior 3, who was one of Thor's best friends, Ray Stevenson. If you talk about comic book, he was in let's see, the first Thor movie, of course. Did he turn to Ragnarok? Yeah, he did. Okay. What about, no, I guess he passed away somewhere during that time, or was sick. But of course, he played Frank Castle, the Punisher, in Punisher Warzone. I'm sorry, that film still sucks, but he's good in these movies. I felt like these two Thor movies and Thor Ragnarok, they're better movies that he was in. And I like him as Volters, who's like the guy with the big beard and trench. I can't say the character's name right. Volstagg, good character. Zachary Levi as Frendel. He replaces Joshua Dallas, who was in the first movie. Zachary Levi would go on to, he was in the Chuck TV series, and of course, like I said, he would go on to play Shazam and Shazam and Fear of the Gods. So I guess this was like his first comic book movie that he did. Big Mama's House 2, I think that was his first movie. Yeah, he was in one of the Average Chipmunk sequels. That's don't care for those films. Yeah. Terrence Arnold as Hungo, I remember the Warriors 3. He's good, but he's basically a small. He's more in the first movie, but in here he's just here for like 5 seconds, basically. Doesn't get much screen time. Jamie Alexander as Sif. I know that this year in 2013, she was also in a movie called The Last Stand with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I love that movie. That's an underrated film. And of course, the first Thor movie, Love and Other Drugs, Rest Stop, and Thor: Love and Thunder. But she has a cameo, and yeah, I hate that cameo she does. They should give her. She's got plenty to do in the first movie. Here she does some stuff, but Thor Ragnarok, we don't see her in Thor with Love and Thunder. She dies in a stupid way. Yeah, they could have given her character more to do. Rena Russo as Frigga, the wife and of Odin, Queen of Asgard. Rena Russo has been like in Lethal Weapon 3 and Lethal Weapon 4. She was in the Line of Fire with Clint Eastwood, Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman and Morgan Freeman and Kobe Gunn Jr. and Kevin Spacey. But good actress, in my opinion. And a movie with Nightcrawler, but great actress. Major League 1 and 2, yeah. And a movie called Buddy, yeah. And Anthony Hopkins as Odin, the King of Asgard, father of Thor and the Doctor Father of Loki. Anthony Hopkins has already done many movies. Transformers Last Night, The Edge. He was in that. He was really good in that movie. That's a good movie. Next in the Remains of the Day, uh, The Mask of Zorro. You can say that's another kind of a superhero. I would say they call that a superhero film, yeah. And yeah, and The Silence of the Lambs playing Hannibal. It wasn't Hannibal Lecter. It was Hannibal. I know it's got to be Hannibal. Why do I forget? He was in Mission Impossible 2 as well. Oh, Hannibal Lecter. Okay, yeah, he was Hannibal Lecter, the serial killer Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, and I think that has sequels too. Alex Crowe portrays Earl, and some other actors, which I'm not trying to mention, but the film is directed by Alan Taylor. Who, like I said, has directed some Game of Thrones. He directed some series on The Sopranos and Sex and the City and Mad Men. Oh gosh, he directed Terminator Genesis. Yeah, that film. I'm sure I'll hate that movie. I'm sure. And The Many Saints of New York. Hmm, that was a good movie. It's kind of like a prequel to The Sopranos. Hmm. But not much directing, but mainly directing TV shows. The screenplays by Christopher L. Yost, who's written films like the Marvel anime feature film Next Avengers Tomorrow versus Max Steel, Thor Ragnarok. I heard Max Steel wasn't very good. And Secret Headquarters. Yeah, that's a superhero comedy starring Owen Wilson, Christopher Marcus, and Steve McKill, and Christopher Marcus and Steve McFilly. Have worked on Marvel films since Captain America: The First Avenger. They wrote The Winter Soldier, Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, and Endgame, and Avengers: Doomsday Secret Wars. They're working on the scripts for that as well. Stories by Don Payne and Robert Britta. Don Payne, who worked on Pasley, says he said that passed away in 2013. So I guess, for the first Thor movie, Fantastic Four Rise of the Surfer, My Super Ex Girlfriend, which is a superhero comedy film. Fantastic Four Rise of the Surfer, underrated movie, Marvel movie as well. Catches a Spy, Telltale, Fly Away Home, Saving Private Ryan. Based on Thor, created by Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, and Jack Kirby, produced by Kevin Feige. He's produced many MCU movies since the start of the first Iron Man movie. Yep, and still produces MCU movies. Sorry. And he was a executive producer or co-producers, associate producers on a couple of other Marvel movies, like the first X-Men movie, the first Spider-Man film, Daredevil from 2003, X2, X-Men United, Spider-Man 2, Elektra, Yeah, and in some in like Hulk versus Thor Tales of Asgard, Punisher Warzone, Next Adventures Here Tomorrow, Spider-Man 3, way before the MCU started. Cinematography by Graham McGrath. He did cinematography films like Welcome to Hollywood, Big Brass Ring, The Woman Chaser, Empire, Havoc, Full of It, The Factory, Chef, Creed 2, and Creed 3, and Spirited. Music's edited by Dan Luplow and some other guy. He did Elf, edited Elf, Thor Space Adventure, the first Iron Man 1 and 2, Cowboys Aliens, Ant-Man, Spider-Man Homecoming, Ant-Man the Wasp, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Beverly Hills, and Bad Boys Ride or Die, and Beverly Hills Cop 4, or Axel Foley. Yeah. Music is by Brian Tyler. His music in this movie was good. I do think it's slightly better than Patrick Stewart. I wouldn't say it's better, but I do somewhat like it a little more. Is it completely memorable? No. But he did work on movies like Rambo. I love his score for Rambo 4. Yeah. Eagle Eye, The Expendables Trilogy, Iron Man 3, Now You See Me, Avengers Age of Ultron. Clearly working, kind of, working with Danny Elfman. Production company Marvel Studios, shipped by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It was released November 8th, 2013 here in the US. It's 112 minutes long. It's only 1 hour 52 minutes, including some end credits, but it really felt like a short Marvel movie. It didn't really feel long at all. The budget was estimated to be either 150 or $272 million, just estimated that, but it made $644.8 million worldwide. Now, it did make billions of dollars at the box office, but was successful at the box office. And again, again, this is phase two of Marvel, which just started with Iron Man 3, and then this is the second one. Taylor expressed dissatisfaction with the film and said Marvel altered it from his original vision. Maybe they took some stuff out of it. I don't know why. Maybe Marvel just didn't want it to be too dark. But I thought Aaron Taylor did a good job directing. For one, I do think his direction is a lot better than Shane Black's. I know Iron Man is different, but Iron Man was dealt with magical and mystical stuff before. Game of Thrones types like with the Avengers movies. And again, this is fantasy. This is fantasy. Thor is not real. Okay? This is a comic book character. You need to throw fantasy in here and magic and all that stuff. It makes sense. When you take that away out of a comic book movie, something like that, it doesn't need to be in every comic book movie, but still, with Thor, it makes sense. You know, if Shane Black wrote this movie, made this movie, it would be awful. So people ain't got nothing. Chris ain't nothing complaining about. I could agree with some points, but not everyone. But anyway, so the plot of Thor: The Dark World, which again, this is a sequel to the first Thor movie and takes place at the event. This film takes place event. This film takes place after the events of the event of the, after the events of the Avengers film, the first movie. Yeah, we're now Thor. He's still in charge of Asgard. He still fights in the Nine Realms. He still fights. You know, and he's almost going to be ready to be king of Asgard. But in ancient times, the gods of Asgard fought and they won a war against an evil race known as the Dark Elves. The survivors were neutralized, but their ultimate weapon, the Aether, was buried in a secret location. The Aether is something that, it can destroy worlds. It has a lot of power, dark, that it cover the whole world. It can cover whole worlds in darkness. And it can destroy an entire planet and destroy universes and stuff, worlds and all that. So basically, they buried 100 years later. 100 years later, Jane Foster, again, of course, who's played by Natalie Portman, finds the Aether and becomes its host. And it forces Thor, and Thor has to bring her to Asgard before Dark Elf Malekith, who him and his people, Dark Elves, were killed. And he comes back and he's seeking the power of it and wants to destroy the universe with all darkness. And so Thor has to use her. He has to use her. So Thor has to bring her to Asgard for safety. But Malekith captures her and uses the weapons to destroy the Nine Realms, including Earth. So Thor has to go to Earth once again and save the world from Malachi, who wants to use the Aether, the power of it, to destroy the world and the universe and bring darkness to the world. So Thor has to stop him, along with the help of Jane Foster, Darcy. And Stellan Skarsgård's character, Eric Selvig, along with the new guy, with an enter, they must save the world from Malekai's wrath. So, yeah, so that's the plot for you. I'll talk about the movie itself, maybe read some quotes. Again, I think this is a fun sequel, that's just my opinion. Yeah. This is what the Aether in the film looks like. Yeah. But the film opens up with a narration. Once again, I think. Yeah, also a narration like you had in the first movie with Odin, with Anthony Hopkins, doing narration, basically giving you the plot of the story of the movie, what the movie's going to be about, is the story, what the story's going to be about. And this and past this comic event known as the Convergence occurs, opening portals between nine realms. A sinister race called the Dark Elves, they attempt to use the convergence as a way of unleashing the Aether, a force of destruction with the capability of destroying an entire galaxy. The exact event is unknown because they're able to get away. Odin's father, who was Thor's great grandfather, Thor's grandpa, his grandfather, who was king at the time, stops him and they defeat Malachi. And Malachi realizes that his people are losing, his world is dying. He's that they're going to lose, so he's like, "See you later," And him and his guy who will become Kroll, the monster lid, they take off and they hide for like maybe something 100 years. Yeah. It's unknown, but it's known that it's one of the six powerful objects that precede the entire universe. But Malachi, what he wants to do is use Aether to use his power to destroy the universe to create it in his own imagine. Or that's basically how mad he is. He's driven back to their homeworld. They seal it in a way, a place that can never be found. And they get and spend into animation for 100 years, bound to return to finish what they started. But you open up with Loki, of course. Loki now, who is in prison, will going to go jail. Odin's talking to him. His mother says, "Loki, don't make this prison. Don't go to the club, mother." And it was like, "What you did was wrong. You're responsible for your own actions, Loki." And he's like, "I just meant to rule them as a god. We're not gods. We live and die just as they do." Well, yeah, but it takes 1,000 years or so for that to happen. Still, what's wrong with you did? You're going to be. I'm sentencing you to prison for the rest of your life, Loki. So Loki goes to the Asgardian prison, and even I like it the moments when Rhaenyra does a good job. She cares for Loki, loves Loki. She had that. She's like kind of a god of mischief herself. She, I guess, tricks Loki. Like Odin is very fond of Thor. She's very fond of Loki, and she tells Loki, "What cost? Like you said, you're a king, huh? Birthright." He's like, "Well, you're not my mother. Am I not your mother? No." But there's a love there that that his mother cares for him very much, and he cares for her too. It's just that Loki feels like it's his birthright to be king. He felt like Odin betrayed him, and Thor, betrayed him as well. Was better than he, so he's just trying to prove a point. But anyway, he's more of a secondary villain in this movie. But anyway, and you see, Thor sort of fighting in the Nine Realms. It's been 2 years since he's seen Jane Foster. About 2 years, and he's fighting. You got Sif there in the picture there. And she looks even more beautiful in this movie. I hate to say it, but I would have loved to see Thor and Sif be in a relationship. I'm sorry, but that's just me. Don't get me wrong, I do think Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman have good chemistry, but I always thought that Thor and Sif were meant to be together. But that's the way I see it. But anyway, they're fighting, an army. He's helping one of his friends who's living with his own people now. They're fighting, and Big Monster comes up, and Thor's like, "I accept your surrender." And they laugh, and Thor's like, and this is a big Galactic monster, but Thor, instead of using like King David did at the time, he used a rod to hit it. He uses his hammer. and knocks it down. Is like, "Do you give up?" And they all give up. And Thor's like, "My friend, you're welcome." And after victory, Thor, is sad because he misses her a lot. He misses Jane. He even goes to his friend, Idris Alba. How long? I can't say his name right, the character's name right, but he saved everything in the universe. Apparently, they build the bridge back up. Yeah, and they just party and have fun. And Thor even talks to himself a little bit. And Thor talks with his father. He's like, "Why do you bear for an earthly woman when you've got what's trying for you?" He's talking about Sif, of course. He's like, "But just take it from me, your father." Oh, it was prepared by the power of the Tesseract. But then you have Jane, who's still a scientist. She's on a date with a guy, and she's upset because Thor kind of broke up because Thor didn't really come to visit her. She saw him about 2 years ago. She saw him in New York on TV, and wonder why he never said hi. And she's on a date with a guy. She's just no one's like, like, hi, hi. Is like, you okay? Let's talk. What we're gonna eat. There's only three orders on the menu. Darcy shows up, and the guy's like, hey, can you bring us our water? Like, sure. He's like, she's like, Jane, this is anomaly, scientific stuff you need to know. And she's like, I'm or something like that. He's like, Jane, why don't you just go with your friend? And there you go. Jane Foster is in London, which I'm fine with. Last time they were in Mexico. That's what the guy that she's on date with. That's Richard. I think he was in Gulliver's Travels, co-starring with Jack Black. That her son has been picking up these strange signals that have not been detected since the events of that took place in New Mexico 2 years prior. They get in their car. They got this intern named Ian, and she just tells him to do stuff. I mean, you could say someone like Cat Dennings can be a little bitchy at times with him. They go where the snow's up. They meet these kids in the storage house, and you find out they show them this port. It's like a portal, and they throw like it's just kind of like you throw something in there. You just throw it, and it goes in the portal, and then it comes right back down, which is pretty cool. But sometimes it doesn't come back, and Jane does she does more tests, and Darcy's like tells Ian, "Give me your shoe so I can leave your shoe in there." And Ian throws the car keys in the portal, and it doesn't come back. It's like, was that the car keys? Which is pretty cool. It causes gravity shift without warning. Foster is swallowed up. She gets swallowed up by one, and she's transported to this unknown planet where the ethers is. And she sees the ether, looks at it, she touches it, and the ether stuff gets on her body. She finds herself in a dark chasm. It affects her body. She passes out. She teleports back to her. Well, she's going through this dark imagine, you know, of blood or whatever. She's flowing in blood, and she's about to say, she's like, Darcy, what you call the cops for? You didn't call. She was like, Jane, you were gone for 5 hours. And then, Heimdall warns Thor that she might be in trouble, so Thor comes down. She sees Thor, she slaps her in the face. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just want to make sure you ruin. She slaps me. He's like, how could you not visit me and stuff? I was like, I'm sorry, Jane. I was so busy. I get why Jane's upset, but again, Thor could not visit her because, again, he was dealing with his brother. He was dealing in a Cherokee, invasion. Cherokee, the aliens that wanted to invade Earth. So he was kind of busy helping the Avengers. He couldn't really have time to say hi. Yeah, he had a lot going on. And of course, had to fight nine realms and stuff. Maybe he could have said afterwards, but maybe Thor was just too busy. Or they were trying to refix the Bifrost past. Something like that. But, you know, and Darcy, they're about to shake hands, and Darcy interrupts. Says, hey man, what's up, Thor? They say hi. Police want to talk to her. They one of the cops touches her. He's like, they think she's dangerous, and she's like, she's dangerous. And Thor decides to take her to Asgard. She meets Hold on, Idris Elba, and he just says, "Hi, welcome to Asgard." Yeah, and he takes Jane to Asgard just for safety. The daughter's operating her. She jokes around with him a little bit, and when Odin wants to get her out of there. Wants her out. She doesn't belong there. They try to touch her, and then they realize that her body's infected. So it tells them the story of the Dark Elves about his father and stuff, what happened. Yeah, but she meets Queen Frigga, Thor's mother, just for a high, and pretty much Malachi comes back to life, gets emerged, you know, and he stabs his guard main guy, whatever. He becomes Crow like this giant monster. Crow goes undercover, and Loki's just sitting in prison, just sitting there. Not much to do, of course. He's consumed with Malachi, even though he's pissed off about it. I'm like, well, Malachi, your people died, your planet died, but you left them. You said their sacrifice would be like very good or something like that. I don't know. He said, but you said, see you later. You left your people to die, and they died, and you blame Asgardian for it, which kind of not really their fault. Kind of on you. Elgrim allows himself to be captured by Asgardians. He disguises as a he uses this technology to turn himself into a curse, a superpowered warrior. Well, once they're inside and Thor and Jane, they're just having a moment of talking. He's telling her about the nine realms, and they do their fingers. They share a kiss. He meets she meets Rirosa, her mother, and well, Algorm tells himself to the monster Crow and lets all the prisoners out. And Thor comes over and is like, "I accept your surrender." He's like, "He is not." And they fight, and the monster sees Loki, but just walks away. And Loki's like, "Take downstairs." Takes his left. He's like, "Appreciate the help." Yeah, and the the Darvos have their ship. They come to attack Asgard, and Malachi himself comes, wanting to get his hands on Jane because she has ether in her body. He wants to take it from her. And Frigga, the queen, Rena Russo, she decides that, it's like, back off, Dark Elf, Her Malachi to fight. She stabs him, and she's a badass. She can fight. Until Crawl shows up to get his hands on her. And he's going to put his hand on, grab Jane, but she uses her mystical magic of mischief and disappears Jane, away. It's like, witch! And Crawl stabs her, killing Thor's mom and Thor's mother. And Thor, stabs her, not stabs her, but shocks, have Malachi's face. Nearly attacked though, but Crow grabs Malachi and they run off. They jump out of there real quick. Yeah, yeah. And Owen sees his wife's Rena Rich's body, dead body of her character, you know, and hugs her, and he's sad. And they have a funeral for her. And Jane is put in prison or watched, is what happened. Yeah, at the funeral, and that funeral was really sad though. Oh, there's a scene where I forgot to mention where Heimdall is, tries to stop the ship from coming, but it doesn't work. Cool kind of action moment. He is. Odin's attempting, he wants Malachi to come back. And even though, of course, when Damon's Thor tells him, look, people got to lead him away from here, he's like, no, we'll fight back. That's what we do as Jordan. He's like, it's wrong, son. And it's like, the roles have switched, that he wants blood more now. Again, he has a reason because his wife just died and he's angry and vengeance, a good reason because it's personal. Yeah. So Thor has to come up with this plan. He comes up. It's for treason. He talks with Heimdall, Sif, and his friends. Sif goes takes Sam Foster out of there. He talks to Loki. He's like, Loki, I know you crave vengeance. Enough for the act. He's like, he comes to life. He's like, enough, Loki. I know what you're acting like. And you see that Loki has turned up his cell. He's found out when the guard told him his mother died, how upset he is. You can just tell when he's first uses his powers to nearly destroy his cell. He's like, well, Loki, if you betray me, I will kill you. I like when they talk together and Loki's able to tease Thor by pretending to be somebody else, by making himself as a guard or turning Thor into himself. He's like, do not think, brother, I would kill you in this form. And he turns himself into Captain America. And he's like, Chris Evans has a quick cameo here, and that was funny. Wow, I feel really heroic and stuff. American, patriotic. They grab Jane, and Jane's just like, you're Loki, and Jane, like, punches Loki in the face. It's like, that was from New York. He's like, I like her. Loki knows the approach, so that they have to use him. And every time one of his friends, like, Sif tells him, if you betray, he's like, I'll kill him. He's like, hello, Sif. And then Voucher, Ray Stevenson is like, if you betray them, you'll kill me? Well, get in line, pal. And they go on the ship. Thor doesn't know how to press the buttons. But you know all this thing. Like, yeah, shut up, Loki. And they get out. They escape with the Asgardian soldiers trying to stop them, but they get away. There's like Loki Shark pushes Loki, and which is where some scenes of Zachary Levi there a little bit. Who does a good job. He's not in the movie whole lot, but he's here and there in the film. He does good. Yeah. They hijack it down dark ship, and they make their way out of Asgard to a hidden portal. Loki's able to, get it and find it, take him there. Jane's body, Jane's body's being fed by the Aether. She's passing out. She's like, I'm okay. Her eyes are becoming pitch black dark. They land in the wastelands of Southern, this land. Foster's body was completely channeled by the Aether. He confronts the trio. Loki appears to betray Thor. He's like, Thor, you betray me. Stabs Thor. Fights him. Well, not fights Thor, but and gets pushes Jane away. He's like, Malika, this is my brother Thor, and he stabs Thor's arm off, a hand off, and I just want to see Asgard burn, and here's Thor's revenge. But apparently, it's Loki is the god of mischief, and Thor was going along with it, and Thor, is like he's able to use his magic. Thor's able to grab his hammer, fight them a bit, but eventually, they overcome them, and Malachi is able to eventually get the Aether out of Jane's body and into himself. Thor has a fight with Bro, but is Crow's from monster even strong enough to carry, Thor's hammer, get away from him, and Thor fight? Loki fights some of the Dark Elves, defeats them, sees Thor's in trouble, so he stabs the Kroll, and Kroll grabs him and stabs Loki, killing Loki. And so we think, killing Loki, but Loki puts a bomb on him, and Kroll blows up and dies, and Malachi and his crew just go away, fly away a little earlier, as Malachi just leaves one of his own just to die, like he usually does. But, he's like, Father would know this day, I would tell Father about this. There'll be stories of this day. He's like, I'm sorry, Loki, that you died, and Loki dies, and he's sad. And Thor and Jane and go inside the rocks. So yeah. Well, Thor and Jane, they enter a cave. They see car keys and they see shoes. Like, there's so many shoes in here. They get a call from Richard, and she's able to get the portal. They of course like he's like, and Thor's like, really, he's in a relationship with another guy probably. And Thor says, "Who's Richard?" She's like, seriously. Hmm. They drive off. Oh, they meet Stellan Sigurd, you know, who's went crazy after the Avengers. He was found naked in a park, got arrested. He's trying to explain scientist stuff to the crazy people, and one of them is Stan Lee playing in them. And Stan Lee's like, "I don't know, pal. Can I have my shoe back?" But they get him out of there, pretending to be Ian's dad. Like the moment they see like these birds flying, and the birds come fly under them, under the floor. I mean, under the yeah, on the concrete. Yeah. Birds flying up to them like this, that was pretty cool. Yeah, and Eric, who yeah, him being nude, that was not that funny, and him being in his underwear, that was kind of a little stupid in my opinion. But still, he says hey to Thor, and they're doing, their scientist stuff, trying to figure out what he can do. Like, they said the effects of the converse we can. It's a device that can teleport different worlds. They meet up with Thor and Foster. Tell the people who live in England that the previous converse have built certain objects to create a secret map to where the converges will reach its peak. They put two and two together. Foster theorizes that Malachi plans to spread the Aether through the portal so that they may destroy the worlds at once. They find these number portals have been opened. Malachi comes. Thor's gonna fight them while they try to do their science stuff. Yeah. And Thor engages in battle with Malachi. Malachi's pretty strong, having the Aether. He's like, all that power, you still can't hit that hard. But Thor, it's a pretty good fight. Thor throws his hammer at him. Pretty good fight. They transfer to two different worlds. They go to the world where Loki died. And by the way, Loki, I think, fakes his death as being the god of mischief, which is being Asgardian guard, telling Odin, his father, telling Odin that Loki's died. Sever used the device to deal with the Dark Elf soldiers, and I like it when Ian, he gets no strength to save Darcy. She's about to tell her about these Dark Elves, but he kills them. She's like, and they share a kiss, and that was funny. And they got these devices, but Thor has to get close to him to do it. So I was like, give me these devices, and Thor, throws one like a spear, and then we get really mad guys. He's like, you can't destroy the Thor, you can't destroy the Aether. It can't be destroyed. But Thor's like, you can. As they're fighting through some of the cities, like through the Frost Giants world and stuff. Yeah, and it's becoming more powerful. But when Thor throws these device handles at him, yeah, and it throws him, and he's able to destroy Malekith, and Thor has to put up a good fight, and then he gets himself killed. But however, Malekith's damaged arch, his plane starts to crash. But Sylvie uses the last device to teleport away, and it lands on Malachi, and he kills him. You know, and the ordeal is finally over, and they save the world. Thor returns to Asgard, where Odin congratulates him on his victory, despite the crimes that he committed to do so. Thor will make a right king, but Thor says that, I don't want to be king, father. I'm sorry, I choose not to be. I have one son who is desperate to be king, and one who doesn't want the throne. Well, okay. And I guess you could say he just lets Thor in peace. But as he leaves, Odin is revealed to be Loki is still revealed to be alive. He's like, no, thank you. As Thor, Loki is getting his rule now, while Thor gets to be happy on Earth with Jane in a relationship with Jane. Yeah. But you have the name Chris Roll, but then you have two post-credit scenes that is Sif and Vultures. They hand over the captured Aether to Tevin, who is the collector, played by Benedict Del Toro, who you see in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's like the Soul Infinity Stone. It's basically when they finish up. This is building up to Infinity War. I think the Tesseract, when you saw in the first Avenger, that had the Infinity Stone in it, and the Aether has I think Infinity Stone in it as well. I think it might be the Soul Stone. There's all five of them. But you would see like in Avengers: Age of Ultron, you would see like somewhat like in the future of that what would happen in Infinity War. The Collector remarks, one down, five to go. That means he's planning to get more. But if I remember correctly, Thanos will come for that. Will come after the Collector and that Infinity Stone. In Infinity War, of course, but we'll get there. He finally happiness with Jane, and they share a kiss. And then there's the Frost Beast that teleported during the converge during the fight. It still runs rapid through London chasing a flock of birds. And that was funny. And Thor and Jane share a kiss. And there's a happy ending, and that's Thor the Dark World. So, good sequel, in my opinion. Leave me some quotes. Oh, this is much better. Oh, costumes a bit much. It's so tight with confidence. I can feel the righteousness surging. Hey, you want to have a rousing discussion about truth, honor, patriotism, God bless America? I think you missed a column. Well done. You just deprecated your grandfather. You really think I cared about Fridger or any of you? All I ever wanted was you known dead at my feet. Am I Loki? Am I Loki? I'm Loki of Odenheim, and I bring you a gift. I ask only one thing in return, as a gift from the witch to watch Asgard burn. No, thank you. Similarly, before the universe, there was nothing there wrong. There was darkness, and it had survived. Long for the breath of light, there was darkness, and from that darkness came the dark elves. Millennia ago, the most ruthless of their kind, merely get sought to transform our universe back into one eternal night. Such evil was possible through the power of the Aether, an ancient force of imminent destruction. The noble armies of Asgard, led by my father, King Bor, waged a mighty war against these creatures, as the nine worlds converged above him. Malachi could at least unleash the Aether, but Asgard ripped the weapon from his grasp. Without it, the dark elves fell. While the battle was lost, Malachi sacrificed his own people in desperate attempt to lay waste to our Guardian's army. Malachi was vanished, and Aether was no more, or so we thought. So we led to believe. I've got this completely under control. Is that why everything's on fire? All yours. I accept your surrender. Anyone else? Perhaps next time we should start with the big one. Really don't see what the fuss is all about. Do you not fully regret your crimes? Wherever you go, there is war, ruin, death. I went down to Midgard to rule the people of Earth as a permanent god, just like you. We're not gods, we're born with it, we died, just to do. Give or take 5,000 years. All this because Loki desires the throne. It is a marvelous right. Your birthright was to die, as a child cast out on the frozen right. If I had not taken you in, you'd not be in here now. To hate me. If I'm in the axe, that's for mercy's sakes. Just swing it. It's nothing like that I don't like our little talks. It's just, I don't love them. Frigga is the only reason you're still alive, and you would never see her again. You'll spend the rest of your days in the dungeons. And that of Thor, and what of Thor? You'll make witness of King Ram and rotten chains. Thor must travel to undo the damage you have done. He will bring order to the Nine Realms, and then yes, he will be king. Come on, this is exciting. Look, the intern is excited. Ian, my name's Ian. Do you want the face to meter? No. Bring the face meter, the toaster looking thing. Yeah, I want the face meter. Is Jane. So sorry, I just need to make sure you were real. It's been a very strange day. I am Jane. Slash me again. Where were you? Where were you? Heldum could not see you. I was right there where you left me. I was writing and I was crying, and then I was looking for you. You said you were coming. I know, but the Bifrost was destroyed. The Nine Realms were in chaos. Wars were raging, martyrs were plunging. I had to put an end to the slaughter. An excuse goes in not terrible. But I saw you on TV and you were in New York. Jane, I fought to protect you from the dangers of my world. But I was wrong. I was a fool, but I believe that fate brought us together. Look upon my legacy, Elrum. I can barely remember a time before the light. Our survival will be your legacy. A king, yeah. You know, well, full well it was your actions that brought you here, Loki. My actions, I was merely giving birth true to the lie that I have been fed my entire life. That I was born to be a king. A king, true king amidst his faults. Whatever the life you took on earth, a mere handful compared to the number of Odin has taken himself. Your father, he's not my father, then I am not your mother, you're not. You're always so protected by everyone but yourself. Stand down, creature, and you may still survive this. I have survived worse, woman. Who are you? I am Malachi. I'll never tell you. I'll believe you. But anyway, let me give my final opinion on Thor: The Dark World here. I haven't been too close to a video, guys. Hope you guys can see me pretty well. Anyway, my final opinion on Thor Dark World. I do enjoy the sequel. This is an underrated sequel. Before I get into my problems, though, I do like the film. I do like that it takes a bit of a darker direction. And again, I like that it's dealing with magic and mystical realms. I mean, again, that's with Thor, but they should add that in all more movies. You could say the Tesseract Captain America, the first adventure was magical. You know, yeah. And the Avengers, Iron Man was in that, and that was magical stuff. But Shane Black wanted to take that away. That was just stupid. Trying to throw realism in there. No, they don't throw realism. They make it, it's still fantasy. It still feels like comic book. I guess Alan Taylor didn't like the fact how the movie turned out. Yeah. I guess Alan Taylor himself didn't like directing this movie or just was just satisfied with it. I guess maybe they could have added some more scenes with Loki talking to Thor. I mean, talking to Odin. Maybe they could have added a little more of the story, take some of the humor out. But let me say this: I do think the film has a good story. I like the whole thing about the Dark Elves and the Aether. It goes takes a this sequel takes a dark turn. Again, with a sequel, you have to be different. You have to take a different direction with the story, and I'm glad they did. You know, I thought the story was really good. I liked the whole thing with Jane having the Aether in her, and the Dark Elves want to destroy them, and you get to see Thor in action. Yes, you get to see him in suit in the entire movie in action. Whereas in Iron Man 3, you don't get Iron Man in the suit at all. It's just Tony fighting, which is fine. But again, in a film about Iron Man, I want to see Iron Man. But you do get him in Avengers Age of Ultron fighting more in the suit. But that's what you want to see. You want to see the heroes in their suits, and you get to see Thor with his hammer, and that's what you get. You get a lot of good action. This film has good action as well. Chris Hemsworth is great. I thought Tom Hiddleston's Loki once again is great. Natalie Portman I thought was good. Anthony Hopkins does a great job. Kate Dennings was good. All the cast members do a great job, in my opinion. Yeah. Alan Taylor did a good job creating. It does feel like Game of Thrones, or if you like Braveheart, or if you've seen fantasy certain movies. Yeah, yeah. I love the poster for the movie. This isn't my favorite Thor sequel though, but that would probably still be Ragnarok. Ragnarok does go more into humor, you know. Yeah, I don't mind them going a bit darker, but the film still had a good sense of humor to it. Uh, I didn't find it funny with Eric Silva character with him being butt naked, seeing it on TV. We don't see him naked, of course, but him being in his own that was ridiculous. I'm like, really? Because he thinks more than like really Marvel. Even though that's absurd and weird, and I didn't care for that. Still, I thought the direction, the writing of the script was good. I thought the story was good. I thought the music was good. I hate to say it, even though it's not memorable, when the music's there for what the music score is good, I do think it's somewhat better than. I'm sorry, I wasn't a fan of Pestro's. I just didn't care for his. I'm not saying it was bad. It's good music, but I think I prefer this a little more. I don't know. I just for the first Thor movie, the music score by Petro, I just never get into. I think Brian Tyler. I mean, if you watch Rambo 4, he can put on a good score for a movie. Yeah, he's a good composer. In the film, it's short. It's only 112 minutes long, but 1 hour 52 minutes. That's because of the end credits. But still, this film felt very short. It felt very fast paced. Felt like it went by a pretty good pace. It wasn't over 2 hours long, which is fine with me. You know, felt a lot shorter, and it still was a success of the box office. That's why Thor went. After this, he did return again in Avengers: Age of Ultron and Thor: Ragnarok, and of course, a cameo in Doctor Strange. So Princess, or at this time, was not done with the character. So he did receive praise for the performance, but I agree. And the visual effects, the special effects are very good. I love the visual effects in this movie. They really did good with that. Uh, the villain, I agree, was yeah, Malachi. Well, I do think the actor does a good job, and the makeup looks really good. He does come off as threatening and menacing. It's just that he's not very memorable. This is a time, well, starting with Iron Man 3, I hated Guy Pearce as Ultra's Killian Mandarin. He sucked. Now, I thought the actor who played Malphite was not terrible. He was not annoying. It's just that he was not very interesting. There was no depth to him. He's a stupid character as well. I hate to say it. He did something stupid. He just says, see you later to his people, lets his people die as they're fighting with this guard. He just says, see you later. And then he's angry and all wants revenge. I'm like, dude, you left your people to die. You said sayonara, bye bye, see you later. You kind of just let them die. Now you want revenge, and then of course, in cliche movie fashion, he gets the power he wants, and Thor has to stop him. Isn't every superhero movie where the villain gets somewhat great power or is real strong, but then they get defeated by the hero at the end? This in case Thor. Yeah, the villain is great, but I do like Kroll. Kroll was a good villain. I do like that Loki killed him. I wish that maybe he would have had more of a fight with Thor. That would have been more cool to see. But again, I was glad that Loki got his revenge because Kroll was the one that stabbed Thor's mother. Rena Russo stabbed and killed her, so he got his revenge there. But yeah, the biggest problem in the movie, not every part of the humor lands. The humor is good. It's funny, like when they're playing with the portals and Ian throws the car keys in the portal. I was like, was that the car keys? Or says that was funny. So the movie still has a good lot of sense of humor in it. But him being in his underwear, everybody in his underwear, being half naked and going crazy in the movie, you can say, yeah, he went a little crazy, but I would think he not so because after Iron Man blasted him, he went, and Black Widow talked to him. It seems like he was right back in his mind. So this movie, he's just, going crazy and he's nutty and he's just out of his mind, being half naked all the time or in his underwear. And I'm like, really? This movie, he comes off just as a lunatic. Like he's completely lost his marbles. I'm like, yeah. I was surprised that Thor or any of the characters didn't tell Eric Silly, I found your marbles. Mm-hmm. I wasn't surprised if he was gonna freaking when they were talking at the end and Thor was not Thor, but they were talking about when Jay was telling them that Thor was getting in trouble by his father for committing treason. Surprised he didn't. Thor said, "Eric, here's your marbles," and he flies out the window and says, "Yay!" He flies like he's Peter Pan or something. Like he's lost his marbles. And then the villain Malachi was just forgettable. And another lame MCU. MCU has this problem sometimes with villains. You know, again, first, the first MCU, Iron Man, Ironmonger, Obadiah Stane was a great villain. The the Abomination. I was about to say the Abominable Snowman or something like that. But anyway, the Abomination was a great villain. Emil Blonsky was a good villain. Uh, even though he was only used Mickey Rourke as Ivan, he was real good as Whiplash. And of course Loki. Loki is a better villain than Malachi in my opinion. He's more of a secondary villain in here, but and a kind of a protagonist in the film as well. But still villainy by the end. He's still a villain regardless, by the end of this film. They do go more into turn Logan into a hero, which is fine. Although I prefer him as a villain, but that's just me. But Tom Hiddleston, would have been more interesting. But I get it. With a sequel, you got to have a different villain sometimes. And I like the whole point that Thor is so desperate to save Jane and to save the world that he needs Loki's help. So it's like keep your friends close and your enemies closer type thing, especially when they're your brother. Yeah. But yeah, it's just the yeah. Oh, and of course, the Avengers Loki was the movie on that too. He was great in that as well. Captain America: The First Avenger. It was Red Skull. It's just it started with Iron Man 3. They started off with great villains, and at this time, Marvel, you know, villains like are Mandarin are making a joke out of the Mandarin character that was spit in the face of the fans of if you've read the Iron Man comics and you love Mandarin, that's basically a spit in your face. Iron Man 3 does with the Killian being such a lame villain, awful villain. Malachi is definitely one of those villains because it's just that the actor doesn't do a bad job. He doesn't know me. It's just that he's not very interesting, and there's no depth to his character for me to care about. He's just evil, and that's it. And he's not interesting, and he's very forgettable. Thor was a good villain, yeah, but and Loki himself was better, yeah. But anyway, despite that though, this is still an entertaining sequel. The humor works, the visual effects nice. The rest gets Chris Hemsworth. Of course, Chris Hemsworth as Thor does a great job. Do not make another Thor movie without him. You can't recast him as Thor. If you hate Love and Thunder, you can't blame Chris Hemsworth on that movie. It's the writing and directing that was bad for that film. Yeah, but he was always great as Thor in all the movies. He is Thor. You know. Yeah. And Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, Stellan Skarsgård, just fine in it. Well, I don't really like his performance here. It's just the writing. Zachary Levi did good too. Ray Stevenson played Ray Stevenson. Did a great Jamie Alexander. Reno Sandy Hopkins. I wish Jamie Alexander should have had more to do. Yeah, but I thought she did fine for what she had to do in this film. But we don't see her in Ragnarok at all, and we don't see her in you see her in Love and Thunder, but she dies in a stupid way. So it's like they could have had something there. If Thor and James' relationship didn't work out, he could have gone with Sif. But no, we couldn't have that. But anyway, still a very entertaining sequel. I still love Thor: The Dark World. A very underrated sequel, fun movie. My rating for Thor: The Dark World, I'm gonna give this from 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up for Thor: The Dark World. So guys, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of Thor: The Dark World in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What is your favorite Thor sequel? Mine is Ragnarok. What is your least favorite Thor movie? Mine is Thor: Love and Thunder. And how would you rank the Thor movies? I would probably rank them well the first Thor movie, then Thor Ragnarok, then there's Thor: The Dark World, and Thor: Love and Thunder. But this is still better than Love and Thunder. It's just the big problem is sometimes the humor can be problems a little bit, especially the villain. You know, yeah. But despite that, though, at least Christian Bale was great. Was the best thing about Love and Thunder. Despite, but he didn't have. He was still great though. He didn't have much screen time. So, but Thor: The Dark World, still entertaining sequel. Again, my rank for this film is 4 to 5 stars, and a thumbs up with Thor: The Dark World. So, guys, tell me in the comments down below. What do you think of this sequel in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And stay tuned, guys, for my next review. Now we're going to be starting the year 2014 of superhero movies. Maybe I can get these two today if I'm lucky. And starting 2013. Now, you guys know I go by years and months. So, yep. Year 2014 and months, January to December, of course, with the movies. And this film is another Justice League animated movie, or I guess you can say it's part of it. But I really enjoyed this film. It's only 53. It's a very short movie, 53 minutes long. And my next review is my first 2014 superhero review. Now we're in the year 2013 superhero reviews, but now we're now in the year 2014, and I'm starting with JLA Justice League, I guess of America Adventures Trapped in Time original movie. So this will be my next superhero movie. So stay tuned for this. JLA Trapped in Time. So yeah, this will be next. So stay tuned for this. This will be next. Starting with the year 2014. It's dropped it. But Jelly Trapped in Time, this is next. So stay tuned for this. And guys, tell me in the comments down below what do you think of Thor: The Dark World. And your opinion. Once again, my rating for them was 4 to 5 stars and thumbs up. There were spoilers in this review, so I'll put it in the description down below. And stay tuned for this review next. JLA Adventures Trapped in Time. So stay tuned for that. Starting with the year of 2014. Thanks for watching. Like I said, guys, this film I think was released in January, so January is the first month, of course, of the year. So gotta go by that. And thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.